Let's talk about a guy who had absolutely nothing. No money, no future, and honestly no hope. And then he found this one simple secret that completely turned his life around in just 90 days. So how can one tiny habit change, well, everything? Let's get into it. This was the one question that just ate away at Thomas, a 32-year-old night guard. And it's a terrifying question, isn't it? That quiet, desperate feeling that you're just completely and utterly stuck. I think we've all been there. So what did his life actually look like? Well, it was bleak. He worked from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., and then he'd drag himself home to this tiny one-room apartment. He was always tired, always broke, and he felt invisible. His life was literally the reverse of everyone else's. Think about it. Every single morning on his walk home, it was like he was a ghost watching the world come to life. He'd see families getting breakfast ready, kids heading off to school, people starting their day with a sense of purpose. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? Sleeping from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., he wasn't just resting his body. He was missing his own life. The whole world was out there building, creating, and living, and he was just completely absent for all of it. So what snaps a person out of a rut like that? Well, for Thomas, it was this 1-2 punch. First, a real crisis hits. His mom collapses, and it forces him to face just how powerless he is. And then, almost like fate, he has this random encounter on a bus with a successful guy named Mr. Chun, who gives him the key to a totally different life. And there it is. This is the secret. This is what Mr. Chun told him. The answer wasn't to work harder at his dead-end job. Nope. The answer was to work smarter on himself, in this very specific protected window of time when the rest of the world was fast asleep. So this wasn't just some vague idea. Mr. Chun laid out a concrete 90-day system. Let's break down exactly what that plan looked like. Now you might be thinking, 2 hours a day, what's the big deal? But let's just do the math for a second, because it's pretty profound. 2 hours a day adds up to 730 extra hours in a year. That's like getting 3 extra months of productive 8-hour workdays that everyone else just sleeps through. You're giving yourself an insane head start. Mr. Chun's plan was super specific about how to use those 2 hours. The first hour, from 5 to 6, that was all about building a hard skill, something that could literally put more money in his pocket. The second hour, that was for building himself. 30 minutes for his body with exercise and 30 minutes for his mind. Reading, planning, just thinking. And to make this whole thing stick, there were 3 strict non-negotiable rules. Rule number 1, you don't negotiate with your alarm clock. 5 a.m. means 5 a.m. every single day. Weekends too. Rule number 2, protect your sleep. You can't win the morning if you lose the night, so a 9 p.m. bedtime was an absolute must. And rule number 3, you have to push through the pain. Mr. Chun was blunt. The first few weeks are going to be brutal. You're not just fighting sleep, you're fighting the old version of you. But if you stick with it, that action becomes a habit. And that habit, it builds a whole new identity. Okay, so that's the plan. It sounds great on paper, right? But the big question is, did it actually work? Let's take a look at what really happened when Thomas put this thing into practice. Look, this wasn't some instant miracle. Day 1 was a total nightmare. He was literally forcing his eyes open to watch free Excel tutorials while his body was just screaming at him to go back to bed. But then, around day 21, something clicked. He started waking up before his alarm. The videos actually started to make sense. And then, bam, day 87, the breakthrough. His boss noticed his new skills and offered him a day shift accounting job for double his salary. His entire life changed. I mean, just look at this transformation. It's night and day, literally. He went from being a night guard to an accountant, from feeling trapped and hopeless to being confident and skilled. He stopped being a victim of his life and started being the one in control of his own destiny. This is what Thomas told Mr. Chun after he got the job. And that, right there, that's the real transformation. It's that moment when it flips. Waking up at 5 a.m. wasn't just a strategy he was using anymore. It became a part of who he was. It became his identity. Thomas's story is incredible, for sure. But here's the thing. It's not just his story. It's a blueprint. So what does that mean for you? Let's turn his story into your starting line. So here it is, the same exact challenge Mr. Chun gave Thomas, but this one's for you. Step 1, tonight, set your alarm for 5 a.m. and put your phone way across the room so you have to get up. Step 2, choose one skill, just one. Decide what you're going to dedicate that first hour to for the next 90 days. And step 3, protect that bedtime. The real enemy of your future isn't sleep, it's wasted evenings. So this is the only question that matters right now. Not next week, not someday, tomorrow. What is the one skill, the one project, the one thing you are going to start building in that first magic hour? And let's just end on this thought. That person you want to become, the one who's more skilled, more confident, more in control, they're not some fantasy. They're real, and they're just waiting for you to make a choice. And that choice starts tomorrow morning on the other side of that 5 a.m. alarm, so don't keep them waiting.